Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of The Cloud is Calling. We are in episode 3 of our Women in Tech series, and I am super excited to be joined by our exciting, eccentric, and super knowledgeable Cloud FinOps Senior Consultant, Miss Sarah Stone. Sarah, how are you?
Hey Derek, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great today.
Awesome, awesome. Um, Obviously, we are repping some particular gear here, but that's besides the point. We're here to talk about I think, a hot topic in the industry today, and that is cloud FinOps. Because I've been at some conferences lately. I know you've been speaking at some conferences lately. Cost seems to be very top of mind for a lot of organizations. So, why is it now, or why has it been in the last year that FinOps has become so critical to how organizations start adopting cloud?
So, number one is cost savings. What are the big initiatives that a company can take to implement savings and see the benefits long term? That's very important because you want to be able to put your money, your budget towards those new initiatives that drive business value. The application that your engineering team are working on, what can they focus on and put money towards so that that shows value to your customers and drives revenue and things like that. So I think right now we're seeing that change and that switch to make that more important because of the way the economy is, and what are the types of things that companies can build to stay competitive in the market.
Yeah, no, those are all incredibly important initiatives, especially being able to drive that value. And I think it goes without saying, right? We hear the term FinOps. I come from a DevOps based background, right? So FinOps tends to be an offshoot of that thinking. Why are these type of investments, from a people perspective, from a process perspective, so important for organizations to do, right? As they're thinking about um, the future, where are they going to be in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think the number one thing that maybe is misunderstood about adopting FinOps or implementing something like FinOps or DevOps is that it's a one-time thing and we're done and we never have to look back. We did it, it's over, we checked the FinOps box, and that's just not the truth. The reality is that FinOps is an iterative process. It is about coming together, bringing the finance, the business teams, and the engineering teams together and talking about what are the things that we need to all come together about and work on to make sure that we're staying competitive, that we're saving money, that we're, meeting industry standards. And a lot of this is about communication and making sure that we're all speaking the same language and understanding, here's the top down initiative for the year. We want to work towards this. How does finance support that? How does engineering support that? Meeting regularly, being able to see the data and the impact of the decisions that you're making that meet those goals. So it's not a once and done. It's constant process. Just make it a part of what you do as a company, as an organization. We get together, we do FinOps, we talk about this, and we talk about those goals and we're clear about that with the rest of the company.
No, that's good. Now, people and process certainly are, I think, obviously the more key and critical components, but there's that third leg as part of ops, right? Everything ops is what I like to call it. What cool tech have you seen, and you can disclose names or not, completely up to you, guest choice, that really help make it easier for organizations to adopt this iterative process?
Absolutely. Well, with the rise of FinOps has also brought on a huge vendor marketplace, and they're all competing. They're meeting certain needs in the market, whether it be something like RI management, if you want reporting and dashboards. There's just lots of great tooling out there that fit all these different needs. And that's something that our team does is we bring that to our customers and help them recognize, okay, I have a problem in this is where I'm lacking. I need this type of tool. We help advise on what are the best options. And what I'm seeing right now is a huge push towards automation. What can you do to take something off the plate of your engineers so that they can focus on the building aspect, the thing that they're good at, the thing that they love doing, take away some of the frustration and the, impact of, trying to worry about costs with automation. And so there's lots of tools out there right now that are doing that. And we've partnered with a few and, looking forward to, talking to customers about what those options are.
No, that's awesome. Glad to see that that space is exploding and that there's huge investments, I think, in that area. Um, from a business perspective, right? I'm hearing this. This sounds like, yeah, this is really something I want to do. Outside of reaching out to Trace Three and basically saying, "Hey, please build my FinOps practice." What sort of skills do you think a typical organization would need to implement FinOps?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. You need the folks that obviously have the finance understanding. You want the engineering and technical know-how, but then you also want some skills like how to translate, how to communicate, how to collaborate between those different teams. Do you have transparency from your leaders so that they can understand, what are we all working towards? How to make that clear throughout the organization? And understanding the data that you're working with is also part of that. So being able to analyze what you're looking at, your costs, your infrastructure, what are you all working towards? So I think that the skill set, you can find your niche if you are somebody that really likes looking at, the dollars and cents, and you want to make sure that everybody understands why this is important and you can communicate that. That's great. You need that. If you are an engineer and you love getting into the technical aspects, but you also want to be kind of part of that bigger picture discussion, there's also a spot for you there too. So really, I think it's about thinking about what you like to do, where are your skill sets, and then how can you level that up and bring that to the organization.
Are there any sort of certifications someone can get for FinOps?
Yes, of course. There's certifications for everything.
Isn't there?
Um,
Right?
So there's a FinOps practitioner, that's the main one. And we learned recently that about 2,500 people globally have this certification. And I will tell you that 10 of us on our team today at Trace 3 have the FinOps practitioner certification. And this is a great training that you can take through the FinOps Foundation. And they are, they just have just great information. If you can be a part of that as a practitioner, there's just working groups, forums, summits, things that you can just be on the ground listening and tuning into this and really get a lot of knowledge that's relevant to right now, not what was working 10 years ago. Right now, what is the market demanding? So the practitioner, and then there's another one for FinOps professional, also through the FinOps Foundation. So
Practitioner, kind of like the associate level, professional, kind of the more
it's
advanced
just like
expert.
another level up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The most important one would be your practitioner.
The practitioner. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Just want to make sure that everyone knows where to potentially
That would be
focus
the
in
first
on.
one. You have to take that
First
one
one.
first.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will also say that vendors are getting badges as well to say that they're
Oh,
associated and linked with the FinOps Foundation as well. So that's something to look for too if you're evaluating tools.
awesome. So the FinOps Foundation assigns these badges to like certified vendors, so hey, these
Yes,
guys are true FinOps practitioners. They know what they're talking about.
absolutely. And they kind of meet that standard. They're
Awesome.
implementing best practices, and the foundation really sets that as, this is what you do. And they're building those best practices based on what the community says. So it is very, everyone has a way to participate and, add to that. So
Awesome. That's great. Um, what sort of trends do you think people should keep top of mind as we see this trend continue to grow? And I think, really kind of, I don't want to say explode, but really open wide, open up much larger as we head into 2023.
sure, I think kind of what we talked about initially, cost savings is going to be number one. If you are trying to mature your cloud practice and your FinOps practice, you know, you want to understand, okay, where am I today? How do I get to this next place? That's something that we support our customers and helping them understand that. And really, it's about facilitating those conversations and making sure that they're aware of, are you leveraging, all your assets, your resources, the tools to get to that next step. And then keeping in mind those cost saving initiatives, beyond just managing the commitments, cleanup, automation, it all has to come together. And then I've also heard a lot of chatter around sustainability and, what are we doing to ensure that we're meeting cost savings in that way as well. So there's lots on the horizon, and looking forward to seeing what some of these organizations are going to put out in the next year.
Yeah, no, I know sustainability is a huge topic. I've done a talk or two around that, and I know a lot of organizations are being very mindful of their impact in the environment. So I think going forward, marrying up how well your particular CSP provider uh, has a sustainability impact as compared to what FinOps can do to really help meet those goals is a huge thing for a lot of organizations.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I think the corporate social responsibility and to their consumers is something that we are going to see to be a big part of this. So,
no, yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a lot of investments to be made there. Um, when do you think most organizations? I mean, obviously, some organizations it's tough to think about cloud FinOps if they're already in the cloud today, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? We can handle brownfield environments, but do you feel greenfield is a more appropriate implementation for FinOps? Like, hey, I'm looking to migrate to the cloud. Do I do it then, or do I wait till I've kind of settled from my migration, baselined everything, and then look to implement FinOps? Where do you see kind of being the sweet spot for implementing such
yeah, I think
practices?
it's never too early to have the education and the knowledge piece around FinOps, especially if you're beginning your cloud journey. You don't want to have the conversation a year from the time that you migrate. That has to be kind of, at least in the beginning, understanding what is FinOps, what is this practice, who are the players and the personas that need to be involved, what are the types of goals that I need to set and milestones to make sure that I'm bringing this in at the right time. And I think the sooner the better that you get your finance and your engineers and your business leaders at the table to talk about these things, you're really setting a great standard from the start. And people will have ownership in the process and the migration to the cloud. So they'll be on board. That will also support a positive culture at the organization, because FinOps is about collaboration. FinOps is about, driving business value and making sure that, you're leveraging the innovation of the cloud so that you can stay competitive, you are meeting industry standards. And I think when people, again, have that buy-in right at the beginning, there's just so much more flow and communication and openness around what's working and what's not working, because you have to be able to adjust and pivot in real time. You can't do it 6 months from when you first see the problem. It has to be in the moment, and everyone's on board and they understand, okay, you're responsible for this, I trust you to do this, and you're going to be upfront about what that looks like on the other side.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I think it's never too early to have those conversations. I know it can make finance people and some others a little nervous, especially when you do an initial migration. The costs tend to go up, and
It's
that
scary.
freaks a lot of people out, scares them.
Hmm.
But knowing that there's, I would say, light at the end of the tunnel, and that things will come back down, and you can settle, will be help put some anxieties
Yeah,
at
and
ease.
to know that other people have gone through it, and as a partner, we're there to support and say, we've heard these concerns. We've worked with customers in similar situations, in the same situation, and this is how we get through that. You're going to be a part of this. We're not going to keep you in the dark. You're not going to lose out or miss out on any opportunities here. This is about bringing you into the fold, into the conversation from the beginning.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, appreciate you coming on to be a guest. I guess final thoughts from you, and I just very transparent opinion here. What's been your experience, and you can here working at Trace Theory or elsewhere, being a woman in tech. What's been your kind of your highest of highs. Some challenges that you've gone through, and where you've kind of landed today. What do you see going forward as a future?
Yeah, I have to say that I have truly felt like my career has accelerated in this field, and I'm really proud of the work that I've been able to put in with my team. And, just seeing the results of that is just such a positive feeling. I came from a very different background. I was working in fundraising and nonprofit and government, and understanding finances in that world, and then pivoting to tech. And I love the pace of tech. I love that it's about efficiency and being effective with the decisions that you make and the things that you implement. And I like moving this fast because I'm always learning. I'm constantly being challenged by, here's a new problem that we need to solve in the marketplace, and customers need this, and I want to communicate that. I want to support those businesses, and I feel that Trace 3 has really allowed me to do that in my personal career development. And I'm, like I said, the team that we have here at Trace 3, the FinOps team, we have really come together in the last 2 years and just built out a really strong practice, and a great customer portfolio. And I can't wait to see what 2023 will bring. New customers, new problems, new challenges, and we're ready for it. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of, I think, everyone on the cloud team, you are an absolute rock star. I constantly hear great things about you, and I'm not just saying that to, you know, boost any egos or anything like that.
It's okay. You
You are.
can.
No, I've worked with you off and on. You have always been a fantastic person to work with, and I hear that from every other person I interact with when
Thank
your
you.
name comes up. So, thank you so much for being a guest and being a part of this team. It wouldn't be the same, obviously, without you. So,
Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the time on your webinar today. This was amazing. I enjoyed it, and really can't wait to come back.
thank you so much, Sarah, for being. We'll definitely have you on for future seasons. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Our next episode will be the fantastic Gina Yacone, our virtual CISO in our Mountain States region. We'll be talking about all things cloud security. And in the meantime, folks, just remember the cloud is calling.